So Barcelona played their first game of the preseason tour yesterday as we took on Birmingham in St. George's Park, where Barcelona ended up drawing the game by 2-2 and Birmingham City winning the game on penalties 3-2. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is the brand new show, guys, where I talk about the aftermath of the game, the positives and the negatives of each of the games that we got coming into the new season. So if you guys like that, make sure you guys smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications. And ladies and gentlemen, like I mentioned yesterday, Barcelona took on Birmingham. It was a very good game, very intense game. Obviously, first preseason, nothing really special. We saw a lot of things happen during the game, both the good and the bad of the game, guys, and we're gonna talk about each and every single one of them, guys. And we're gonna start with some of the positives that came out of the game yesterday. Hamza Abdul Karim, ladies and gentlemen, Hamza Abdul Karim yesterday had, for me, the best game. He was the best player on that pitch. He was incredible in his performance against Birmingham. Scored 2 goals yesterday, was an absolute problem to the defense of Birmingham, and he was absolutely incredible in everything he did yesterday. He had 2 shots yesterday with 2 goals. He had 23 touches throughout the game. His dribbling was pretty good. He was pretty much a menace. His positioning and his movement into the box was quite immaculate, and for a player of his age, 18 years old, he showed a lot of potential. We know that this kid has been highly touted in Egypt as the next big thing, and so far from what we saw in the game yesterday, there is a lot of positives that we took away from that game. And it's quite an interesting case because we know Barcelona right now are in a position where, striker, looking at the number 9 position, with the future of Ferran Torres being uncertain, the potential of seeing Julian Alvarez or not seeing Julian Alvarez, to see a player like Hamza Abdul Karim playing so well, it's interesting because it gives a different kind of dimension. Because when you look at a player like Hamza Abdul Karim, he's not the same striker profile as a Ferran Torres or Julian Alvarez. So having a player with a different profile of Hamza Abdul Karim is definitely a lot of positive. Chavi Espar's amazing performance. Another player, ladies and gentlemen, who showed incredible performance yesterday was at right back, Chavi Espar. He played 62 minutes yesterday and he was incredible. He definitely gave Hamza Abdul Karim a run for his money in regards of man of the match. He played incredibly well. He had, I think, the most touches throughout the whole game from any player, had 83 touches in the game. Defensively was incredible on that right hand side. Birmingham City was struggling to basically create anything on his side. He was doing well against his man. He performed incredibly well, and also going forward, right, he was putting a lot of good crosses into the box. He was becoming more of a, backup winger, and he was giving a lot of issues on that side, especially in that first half when we saw, Karim Ady alongside him. You could see Espar was being quite an assistant, and we know in the flick system where he likes his fullbacks to be very advanced, a player like Chavi Espar is one to look out for. We could be seeing more of him, but potentially we could also see him go out on loan. But yesterday he had an incredible performance, and we have to say that was quite an impressive performance from the youngster. The performance from the Masia graduates. Now, ladies and gentlemen, yesterday, obviously, we saw a lot of players make their professional debuts for the Barcelona first team. And obviously, there is some names that we already knew, but there were definitely some names that we did not know about who were quite impressive. Not everybody had a great game, but there were some who were incredible when we saw them. Obviously, yesterday, one of the highlights, we will talk about him later, but one of the other highlights was the, debut of Shane Kluivert, Patrick Kluivert's son. Obviously, big moment for the youngster, right? Getting an opportunity to put on the shirt of his father. He wasn't incredible, but he wasn't nothing special. But at the end of the day, he's a youngster and he's one for the future. But some of the players that were very impressive, one of them, ladies and gentlemen, was Alex Gonzalez. He absolutely was incredible in that game. I was very impressed by his performance yesterday. He played quite well, quite brave. He had a few good chances during that game. We also saw players like Ibrahima Diarra, the Malian youngster, right? He was absolutely incredible. He had a few good chances during the game, and he was pretty good in the midfield. I have to say, I was quite impressed with the energy he brought in that game. He was pretty good and he did his thing. And there were other players that definitely showed more. There were some players that didn't show enough, but those two in general, I was very impressed by what I saw from them, and we will definitely see what happens. Obviously, a lot of these guys are not going to be given an opportunity in the first team, but it's quite incredible and quite a positive to know that there are some players that we can potentially see break into the first team in the future. Now, ladies and gentlemen, to talk about the negatives with the performance of one of the youngsters, Ibrahima Tunkara. Now, obviously, Ibrahima Tunkara is another one who's one for the future, but his game yesterday wasn't good. He didn't have a good debut. He really didn't play that well, right? Definitely for the hype that he was coming with going into this game, he didn't show enough. And obviously, there is a lot of things that go into, going into the game, right? One of them being match sharpness. A lot of these guys haven't played football in months, so we shouldn't really be surprised by the performance. But I will say this though, he's definitely one to look out for. But yesterday, he didn't have his best game. But we are still hopeful that we will see more out of him during this preseason. The defensive high line. Ladies and gentlemen, Barcelona yesterday, we drew 2-2 with Birmingham. And let's be honest, the high line, once again, was a problem, right? It wasn't much of a problem, right, as much as it used to, but you could see that the high line wasn't working at certain points in the game, right? Birmingham City, they were having their way. I'm not going to lie to you, right? I was not impressed with the partnership of Christensen and Gerard Martin. I did not like the partnership. The partnership did not look good at all. And they were getting absolutely ripped apart. They were getting absolutely cooked by Birmingham City. I was actually, to be honest, more impressed with some of the young players who came in around the hour mark during the preseason. And I think a lot of those guys showed more than what we saw from players like Christensen, like Martin, who are some of the experienced players in this team. But the performance wasn't really that good, and with the fact of going into the season, once again, we are talking about the defense being an issue, is not a good sign of what is to come. The debut of Karim Adeyemi. Now, one of the key players who made their debut yesterday was Karim Ady. He started in the game and he played for the first half, and to be honest with you, it wasn't a bad first half. It wasn't bad at all, right? But there wasn't really much needle moving that we saw in that game, right? I would be honest, I don't think he did enough in that game, right? Obviously, there's still a lot of time. Like I mentioned, my sharpness does go into it, but he didn't have a good game. I think that when you see players like Ronnie Bagdaji, who came on in the second half, I think they showed more in that second half than we saw from Karim Ady. But like I mentioned, it's just one game, and at the end of the day, we could see more out of him, and we will see more out of a lot of these players going into more of this preseason games. But ladies and gentlemen, those are the 3 positive and 3 negatives, guys, we took away from this game, guys. Let me know, what did you guys think of the performance? And also, guys, let me know one thing, what I forgot, whether it's positive or negatives, guys, in the game yesterday between Birmingham and Barcelona, guys. What are some of the positives that I missed in this video? What are some of the negatives that I missed in this video? And what do you guys think of the performance? Do you guys think a lot of these guys, as time goes on, they will see more match sharpness? And who do you think we could see break out from some of these youngsters we saw from the Birmingham game, guys? Let me know in the comment section below. Make sure you guys smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications, all of the beautiful stuff. Have a good one, ladies and gentlemen. Peace. It's Barca.